Chosen one. Someone had a shouting match over you. Someone was defending your honor against this liar. What was said will shake you to your core, because while you've been quietly transforming into your highest self, there's been a war brewing in the shadows around your name. You've been doing the inner work, cutting energetic cords, stepping into your divine energy with undeniable grace and power. You've been nurturing yourself and others, showing up as the stable, secure, abundant person you were always meant to become. Your energy has shifted so dramatically that even strangers sense something magnetic about you now. But someone from your past has been watching your transformation with growing rage. This individual thought your struggles would last forever. When you were healing, learning, finding your way, this person constructed an entire narrative about your limitations and convinced anyone who would listen that you'd never amount to anything significant. You've completely shattered those predictions, alchemizing your pain into pure power. The confrontation that just shattered this toxic person's world wasn't a quiet discussion. It was a full-scale emotional eruption where suppressed truth about you came pouring out like a dam breaking under pressure. The witness didn't just question one or two stories about you. Each lie told about your character was systematically demolished with facts, evidence, and painful observations of the toxic person's true nature. This toxic person had been systematically rewriting the history of what really happened between you and them. The victim role had been claimed in situations where actual aggression came from their side toward you. Claims about your supposed instability were being made while their own behavior toward you remained erratic and manipulative. Stories were being spread about your vindictive and aggressive nature while actual revenge plots and reputation destruction campaigns were being orchestrated against you by the accuser. The witness revealed something that will make your stomach turn. False reports about you had been made to authorities. Lies about you were being spread in your professional circles. Cyberstalking of you was happening obsessively. This wasn't passive resentment about you. This was active malice designed to destroy your life, because watching you thrive without their presence was unbearable for them. Every attempt made to harm you backfired spectacularly. The false reports about you didn't stick because there was no evidence to support them. The professional lies about you were exposed because your character speaks louder than their words. The cyber stalking of you was revealed because the obsession with you couldn't be hidden from the person living with this toxic individual. The witness had been documenting this behavior toward you, horrified by what was being observed. Living with someone who spent more energy thinking about destroying you than building the current relationship became unbearable. Watching someone choose bitterness about you over presence, revenge fantasies about you over reality, and obsession with you over the love being offered right in front of them, created a breaking point. The moment came when the witness understood that complaints about you weren't just lies. These were confessions. Every accusation about you was actually a description of the accuser's own behavior. Every criticism of you was a projection of personal character defects. Every claim about your supposed instability was actually evidence of their own psychological dysfunction. During the explosive confrontation, something even more devastating about you was revealed. This toxic person had been trying to turn the current partner against you by convincing this witness that you were somehow a threat to the relationship. Lies about your character, your motivations, and your supposed ongoing influence in their life had been fed to this partner. Manipulation tactics created a false sense of competition between the current partner and you, someone who had completely moved on and was thriving without them. The witness finally saw through this manipulation about you and realized being weaponized against you, an innocent person who was simply living your best life. Understanding that being used as a tool in someone's revenge fantasy against you added fuel to the explosive confrontation that followed. As the argument about you intensified, more shocking truths about you emerged that paint a picture of just how deeply disturbed this toxic person's behavior toward you had become. The witness revealed discovering evidence of attempts to sabotage your new opportunities. Messages had been found where contact with your workplace, your business partners, or your new romantic interests included lies designed to damage your reputation and relationships. This toxic person had been operating under the delusion that you could somehow be forced back into their life by systematically destroying every good thing that happened to you afterward. The belief existed that if failure could be manufactured badly enough in your life, you'd come crawling back broken and apologetic, begging for their forgiveness and validation. Your continued success and obvious happiness had been destroying this fantasy about you piece by piece, driving their behavior toward you to increasingly desperate and vindictive levels. The witness had also discovered that lies had been told about personal finances, employment, and mental health, while all energy was secretly being channeled into obsessing over your life. Sympathy manipulation had been used to maintain the witness's support, while days were spent plotting against you instead of building personal success. The realization came that someone's lifestyle was being funded while time was spent scheming against you, someone who had moved on completely from them. The witness revealed that every curse sent your way, every negative wish made about your future, every harmful intention directed toward you seemed to be boomeranging back to them with amplified force. This toxic person's own life had been falling apart in direct proportion to attempts made to damage yours. While your life was ascending, theirs was crumbling. Relationships ending, reputation being destroyed, mental health deteriorating, and financial situation becoming desperate, all while obsessing over your success. The witness had been watching this karmic destruction unfold, and finally understood that witnessing the universe's response to sustained malicious intent toward you was happening in real time. Staying silent about what was being done to you wasn't just enabling lies, it was complicity in spiritual warfare against you, someone who had chosen healing and growth over revenge and bitterness. The confrontation escalated when the witness accused this toxic person of being energetically obsessed with you, to the point where full commitment to any current relationship was impossible. The observation was made that you were discussed more than personal goals, dreams, or future plans. How this obsession with you had made availability for genuine love and partnership impossible was highlighted because all emotional energy was being consumed by resentment toward you. What makes this explosion about you even more significant is that privacy wasn't maintained. The shouting match about your honor was witnessed by others, neighbors, friends, family members, possibly even children who didn't need to hear such toxic revelations about what had been done to you. The witness's defense of your character wasn't just a private conversation. This was a public vindication of you that shattered the toxic person's carefully constructed image as the wronged party in your story. People who had been listening to complaints about you for months suddenly heard a completely different version of events regarding you. Learning that manipulation had occurred to make them feel sorry for someone who was actually the aggressor toward you was shocking. Discovering that sympathy had been weaponized against you, an innocent person who was simply trying to heal and build a better life, changed everything for these witnesses. The witness didn't just defend you. Education was provided to everyone within hearing distance about the toxic person's pattern of behavior toward you, how this individual consistently blamed you for problems created by themselves, how facts about your relationship were twisted to maintain victim status, and how punishment was delivered to anyone who tried to speak positively about you was revealed. The social consequences regarding you began rippling outward immediately. Mutual friends started questioning the stories that had been told about you. Family members began connecting dots about your relationship, and others where the victim role had been played. Co-workers remembered incidents involving you that suddenly made sense in this new context. The toxic person's entire social support system began cracking, as people realized manipulation and lies had been used to turn them against you. While this social earthquake was destroying the toxic person's reputation, you remained completely insulated from the chaos. Your focus had been maintained on personal growth, building your new reality, and attracting aligned people and opportunities into your life. The universe had been protecting you from this drama, while simultaneously preparing your vindication. The witness's public defense of your character served another crucial purpose for your destiny, establishing the truth about your integrity before you fully stepped into the next phase of your journey. The career opportunities, creative projects, and leadership roles manifesting for you now require public trust and credibility. The universe cleared your path by ensuring that false narratives about your character couldn't interfere with your divine assignments. But let's dig deeper into exactly what words came out of the witness's mouth during that explosive confrontation about you, because what was said about you will give you chills. Defense of you wasn't the only thing happening. Every lie told about you was systematically dismantled with surgical precision. The conversation about you started with something that cut straight to the bone. You talk about this person more than you talk about us. You spend more energy hating your ex than loving the person right in front of you. The toxic person tried to deflect, tried to minimize, tried to turn the conversation back to victim narrative about you. But the witness wasn't having it. The continuation about you was brutal. I've been watching you scroll through your social media with pure hatred in your eyes. I've listened to you create elaborate fantasies about your failure. I've watched you celebrate when you thought something bad might happen to you. That's not normal behavior about an ex. That's obsession with you. When the toxic person attempted to justify behavior by claiming you had hurt them so badly, the witness delivered a blow about you that shattered the entire foundation. No, you're lying about what you did. I've seen the messages about you. I've heard your version of events with you change depending on who's listening. I've watched you rewrite the history with you to make yourself look innocent. Every story you've told me about you has been a confession about your own behavior projected onto you. The witness then revealed something about you that will make your blood run cold. Secret documentation of the toxic person's obsessive behavior about you had been happening because it had become so disturbing and all-consuming. Screenshots of attempts to monitor your life existed, along with evidence of efforts to contact your workplace and proof of false reports to authorities about you. A case had been built not to use against the toxic person, but to protect the witness from someone whose behavior toward you had become increasingly unhinged. You made false police reports about your ex, was stated flatly about you. You tried to get you in trouble at work with lies. You've been cyber-stalking you for months. You've been trying to turn mutual friends against you with stories that keep changing. This isn't heartbreak over losing you. This is harassment of you. This is stalking you. This is criminal behavior toward you. The toxic person's response to being confronted with evidence of these actions toward you revealed depths of malice that shocked even the witness who had been living with them. Instead of showing any remorse or self-reflection about what had been done to you, rage erupted at having the behavior toward you exposed. Threats were made toward the witness for betraying them by defending you. Accusations flew that the witness had been brainwashed by you somehow. Levels of paranoia and delusion about you were revealed that made it clear complete disconnection from reality regarding you had occurred. During this confrontation, the witness didn't just expose lies about you. A comprehensive psychological profile was revealed of someone fundamentally incapable of healthy relationships. Patterns that had been observed painted a picture of deep-seated character disorders that went far beyond simple jealousy or hurt feelings. You've never taken responsibility for anything, the witness declared. Every relationship that ended was the other person's fault. Every job lost was because of unfair treatment. Every friendship that died was because others didn't understand you. You have never, not once in the time I've known you, genuinely apologized for causing harm to another person. You don't feel remorse, you feel anger at being caught. The witness revealed that research into psychological manipulation tactics had been happening because the toxic person's behavior had been making the witness question reality itself. Discovery occurred that everything the toxic person did fit textbook patterns of narcissistic abuse, pathological lying, and antisocial behavior. The realization came that dealing with someone who lacked the basic empathy and self-awareness necessary for genuine human connection was the actual situation. You don't miss this person, the witness continued. You never loved them. You're not heartbroken over losing them. You're enraged that someone escaped your control. You're furious that success is happening without you. You can't stand that your predictions about what this person was capable of achieving were proven wrong. This isn't about love, it's about ownership. What makes the witness's defense of you even more powerful is that these words didn't fall on deaf ears. Other people who had been listening to complaints about you for months suddenly heard these revelations and began connecting dots that hadn't been visible before. Family members started remembering other relationships where the victim role had been played. Friends began questioning stories that had never quite made sense. Co-workers recalled incidents that suddenly took on new meaning. The witness's explosive defense of your character became a catalyst for a broader awakening about toxic patterns. People who had been offering sympathy and support realized manipulation had been used to make them take sides in a conflict where accurate information hadn't been provided. Understanding began to dawn about how careful crafting of lies had been designed to make you look unstable, vindictive, or dangerous. As these people began to understand how deception about your character had occurred, many started to feel genuine admiration for how you had handled the situation. The realization came that despite being systematically slandered and attacked, retaliation had never happened. No attempts had been made to turn people against the toxic person. The kind of character assassination campaign that had been waged against you was never reciprocated. Your grace under fire, refusal to engage in revenge, and choice to focus on building your own life rather than destroying someone else's began to shine like a beacon that attracted people's respect and support. The contrast between your behavior and the toxic person's behavior became so stark that anyone with basic moral judgment couldn't miss the difference. The witness's defense of you also revealed to the community that protection had been provided from the toxic person's attempts to drag others into the conflict. Fighting back by exposing lies and manipulations could have easily happened, but maintaining integrity and letting truth reveal itself in divine timing was the choice made. Your restraint and spiritual maturity impressed everyone who learned about the full scope of what had been endured in silence. But the witness revealed something even more disturbing during the explosive confrontation. Evidence had been observed of what can only be described as spiritual warfare being waged against you. Beyond just spreading lies and making false reports, engagement in practices designed to harm you on an energetic level had been happening. The witness described finding evidence that consultation with people who practice harmful spiritual rituals had occurred, seeking ways to curse your success and block your opportunities. Attempts to perform binding spells designed to prevent you from moving on with your life had been discovered. Witnessing the creation of shrines of resentment filled with your photos and personal items, focusing intense negative energy toward you on a daily basis, had been observed. You've been trying to spiritually attack someone who's been nothing but gracious to you, the witness stated with disgust. You've been sending negative energy, trying to bind this person to your pain, attempting to curse their happiness. But look at your own life. Look at how everything you've tried to do to them has come back to you multiplied. You've been destroying yourself with your own hatred. The witness had been watching the toxic person's life fall apart in direct correlation to attempts made to harm you spiritually. Health had been declining, relationships were crumbling, financial situation had become desperate, mental state had deteriorated to the point where daily life functioning was barely possible. The witness realized observation of the law of spiritual reciprocity in action was happening. Every curse attempted to be sent your way was returning with compound interest. The witness revealed that supernatural protection around you during this entire ordeal had also been observed. Description was given of sensing a powerful spiritual shield that seemed to deflect all the negative energy being directed your way. Witnessing how every attempt to harm you seemed to strengthen you instead was noted. Observation occurred of how every lie told about you somehow led to greater truth about your character being revealed. It's like someone is fighting against a person who's being protected by forces beyond their understanding. The witness marveled. Every attack makes their target stronger. Every lie reveals more truth. Every curse becomes a blessing. Not only is harm failing to occur, accidental service to their target's highest good is happening. During the heated confrontation, the witness dropped legal bombshells that will make your jaw drop. Revelation occurred that secret consultation with attorneys had been happening because the toxic person's behavior had crossed so many legal lines that criminal charges were becoming inevitable. The false police reports, the cyber-stalking, the defamation campaigns, the attempts to interfere with your employment, all of it had created a pattern of harassment that prosecutors would find very interesting. Multiple felonies have been committed was stated bluntly. Filing false police reports is a crime. Cyber-stalking is a crime. Defamation is a civil violation that can result in significant financial damages. Interfering with someone's employment through lies is tortious interference. A legal case against yourself has been built that could result in jail time and massive financial liability. The witness then revealed something that will give you chills. An approach by law enforcement had happened regarding investigation of the toxic person's pattern of false reports. Recognition by authorities had occurred that this individual wasted police resources on personal vendettas, and a case was being built that could result in serious legal consequences. Cooperation with this investigation had been provided by the witness, including evidence of obsessive behavior and dishonest reporting patterns. Attempts to harm you legally had been so obviously false and malicious that your position had actually been strengthened. Every false report had been thoroughly investigated and dismissed, creating a documented pattern of the toxic person's dishonesty. Every attempt to damage your reputation had backfired by highlighting your good character in contrast to vindictive behavior. The witness explained that attorneys had indicated you would have an ironclad case for a restraining order, harassment charges and defamation damages if legal action was chosen to be pursued. The toxic person's own behavior had provided all the evidence needed to prove malicious intent and establish the pattern of harassment. Attempts to destroy you legally had actually armed you with powerful legal weapons to protect yourself and seek justice. The witness's defense of your honor also exposed the toxic person's desperate financial situation, which had been another driving force behind obsessive behavior toward you. Revelation occurred that lies had been told about income, employment status, and ability to support themselves or contribute to shared expenses. While hours each day were spent obsessing over your life, personal responsibilities and opportunities were being neglected. The witness revealed that financial support had been provided to the toxic person, while time was spent plotting against you instead of working toward personal success. Description was given of the sickening realization that personal money had been funding someone's campaign of harassment against an innocent person who was simply trying to live their life and pursue their dreams. While the toxic person was destroying personal financial stability through obsessive behavior, your financial situation had been improving dramatically. The witness had been observing your success from a distance and could see the stark contrast between your upward trajectory and the toxic person's downward spiral. Realization occurred that attempts to sabotage your prosperity had somehow resulted in even greater abundance flowing into your life. The witness's explosive defense of you also revealed how the toxic person's behavior had been affecting relationships with family members and long-term friends. Exposure occurred of how family gatherings and social events had been used as opportunities to spread lies about you, turning every celebration into a character assassination session that made everyone uncomfortable. The witness revealed that family members had been making excuses to avoid spending time with the toxic person because constant negativity and obsession with you had become unbearable. Friends had been distancing themselves because tiredness existed from being recruited into one-sided conflicts participation wasn't wanted in. The toxic person's inability to move on had been systematically destroying relationships with people who actually wanted to provide support. But the most heartbreaking revelation was that some of the toxic person's family members had actually been hoping you would succeed and find happiness, despite never having met you personally. Rooting for you had been happening because understanding existed that your freedom and success represented the toxic person's best chance at finally letting go and moving on with life. Your thriving was seen as potential medicine for their loved one's sickness, not as a threat to be eliminated. The absolute peak of this confrontation came when the witness delivered the final blow that completely demolished the toxic person's victim narrative. Revelation occurred that evidence existed, messages, recordings, documented incidents that proved the toxic person had been the aggressor, the liar, and the manipulator in your original relationship. Proof existed that everything that had been said about you was not only false, but was actually a description of abusive behavior from the accuser. The witness had been quietly gathering this evidence because something about the toxic person's stories had never felt right. Testing details, asking clarifying questions, and cross-referencing information had been happening until an undeniable case was built that the toxic person was a pathological liar who specialized in rewriting history to maintain victim status. During this climactic moment, the witness didn't just expose the lies. Revelation occurred of the psychological profile of someone incapable of taking responsibility for personal behavior. Description was given of watching the toxic person blame every failed relationship, every lost job, every burned bridge on external circumstances or other people's supposed mistreatment. A picture was painted of someone who had never genuinely apologized for anything, never shown true remorse for harmful actions, and never demonstrated actual growth or change. The toxic person's response to being exposed revealed true character in ways that shocked even the witness who had been living with them. Instead of showing any remorse, shame, or willingness to acknowledge behavior, doubling down on lies and becoming even more vindictive occurred. Threats were made toward the witness for speaking the truth. Wild accusations were made to deflect from personal exposure. Levels of rage and malice were revealed that terrified everyone present. This reaction served as the final proof that everything the witness had said about character was accurate. Inability to handle being held accountable, instant resort to threats and intimidation, complete lack of self-reflection or remorse, all of it confirmed that you had been dealing with someone fundamentally incapable of healthy relationships or honest self-assessment. The witness later confided to others that watching the toxic person's mask slip completely during this confrontation was both horrifying and liberating. Understanding finally occurred of why you had needed to cut all contact and remove yourself from this person's influence. First-hand observation happened of the level of psychological dysfunction and emotional instability that you had been protecting yourself from. In the aftermath of this explosive revelation, consequences for the toxic person began manifesting with swift and undeniable justice. The current relationship ended immediately. The witness could no longer remain connected to someone whose behavior caused such fundamental disgust. Lies to authorities were being investigated and could result in legal consequences for filing false reports. Reputation in the community was permanently damaged as word spread about patterns of dishonesty and manipulation. While the toxic person's world was collapsing under the weight of personal deceptions, your life was expanding with opportunities and blessings that seemed almost miraculous in timing and abundance. The universe had been holding these gifts until your energy field was completely clear of toxic influences, and your reputation was publicly vindicated. The witness who defended you wasn't just fighting for truth in that moment. Unknowing service as an agent of divine timing was happening, clearing the path for your next chapter of growth and service. Courage in speaking up has removed the last obstacle preventing you from stepping fully into your power as a chosen one. You were never meant to walk this path alone. The Obsidian Inner Order isn't just another spiritual community. It's a sanctuary for the exiled, the awakened, the ones who've been gaslit for their gifts and abandoned for their truth. Every week we gather live on Zoom, real people with real faces sharing real stories of transformation. There's a former CFO who embraced their psychic abilities, a seer who broke free from religious oppression, and a healer who survived ritual abuse and found their power. Dozens more join us who understand exactly what you've been through. This is your spiritual family. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you walk through this awakening alone. Never gonna scroll past your suffering like it's just content. Your exile from the ordinary world wasn't punishment, it was preparation. For this, for us, for the family that chooses you back. Join the Obsidian Inner Order. Link in description. The career opportunities manifesting for you now couldn't have appeared while energetic entanglement with someone operating from such destructive intentions existed. The financial improvements flowing into your life would have been blocked by jealousy and sabotage attempts. The creative projects and spiritual gifts emerging in your experience needed the clean energy field you cultivated through healing work. Your transformation from someone healing from toxic relationships to someone who attracts only aligned supportive connections represents completion of a major spiritual initiation. Proof was provided that integrity could be maintained while dealing with sustained attacks on character. Demonstration occurred that growth could be chosen over revenge, healing over bitterness, and faith over fear, even when someone was actively working against your happiness. The toxic person's exposure and consequences serve as a powerful reminder that the universe maintains balance through natural law. Attempts to harm you were reflected back amplified because spiritual protection had been developed through commitment to operating from love rather than fear. Lies were exposed because truth has a way of revealing itself when timing is right. Isolation and reputation damage resulted from personal choices to prioritize revenge over responsibility. The witness who stood up for you has also been blessed for courage and integrity. By choosing truth over comfort and justice over peacekeeping, alignment occurred with the same divine forces that had been protecting you throughout this ordeal. Willingness to sacrifice personal comfort to defend an innocent person earned spiritual merit and opened new pathways in personal life. Now we return to where this story began, but everything has been transformed through the witness's courageous defense of your honor. The shouting match that happened over you wasn't just about defending your character. Confrontation of a level of toxicity that had been poisoning an entire community through lies, manipulation, and spiritual warfare was occurring. The witness who erupted in your defense wasn't just speaking the truth about one situation. A stand was being taken against the kind of malicious behavior that destroys families, communities, and innocent people's lives. The explosive confrontation with the toxic person's lies became a catalyst for healing that extended far beyond your personal situation. You can now move forward knowing that your character has been vindicated not just by words, but by evidence, documentation, and testimony from someone who witnessed the toxic behavior firsthand. Your reputation has been cleared not just in private conversations, but in public forums where truth was spoken with power and conviction. The divine energy you've been cultivating, that nurturing strength, creative power, and spiritual maturity, has been recognized and celebrated by people who understand the difference between authentic growth and toxic manipulation. While the toxic person was trying to tear you down, the universe was raising up defenders who would speak truth on your behalf, with more power than you could have mustered for yourself. Your successful navigation of this spiritual attack has qualified you for levels of service and influence that require unshakable integrity and proven character. The opportunities manifesting in your life now need someone who has been tested under fire and emerged with values intact. Someone who chose healing over hatred and growth over revenge, even when severely provoked. The witness who defended you represents the growing army of people who refuse to tolerate toxic behavior through silence anymore. Symbolism exists of the collective awakening happening as authentic individuals choose courage over comfort and truth over social peace. Willingness to confront lies and manipulation signals a shift where good people are no longer willing to enable evil through passive complicity. This entire ordeal has been preparing you for a destiny that requires complete energetic clarity and unshakable public credibility. The leadership roles, creative platforms, and healing opportunities flowing toward you need someone who has proven ability to maintain spiritual center while under sustained attack, someone who trusts divine justice over personal revenge, and someone whose character has been publicly validated by credible witnesses. The toxic person's obsession with destroying you has ultimately served to highlight your strength, integrity, and unbreakable spirit. Attempts to keep you small have only emphasized how magnificently expansion has been occurring. Lies about your character have made your authentic goodness more obvious to everyone paying attention. Spiritual attacks have activated divine protection that's now propelling you toward your highest destiny. You are stepping into your full power now. Chosen one. The witness has spoken. The truth has been declared. Your honor has been defended. Your character has been vindicated. The drama is behind you. Lies have been exposed, and your destiny is calling with a voice that can no longer be ignored or delayed. The universe orchestrated this entire sequence of events to prepare you for service at the highest levels. Every attack strengthened you. Every lie revealed more truth. Every curse became a blessing. Every attempt at destruction actually served your ultimate good by clearing away everything that wasn't aligned with your highest purpose. Your time of hiding, healing, and growing in private is complete. The world is ready for what you have to offer, and the witness who defended your honor has cleared the path for your public emergence. Nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what's coming for you now.